Welcome to the Soul Rest. This is a quiet place in a loud world, a place where you do not have to perform, a place where your silence is not misunderstood, a place where you can set something heavy down. Tonight, we are going to talk about something gentle and dangerous: kindness. Not the kind that shines on greeting cards, not the kind that earns applause, but the kind that slowly erases you. If you have ever felt exhausted from being the understanding one, if you have ever said yes when your body was begging you to say no, if you have ever wondered why being good never seems to be enough, stay. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breathing slow. This is where we begin. You did not become kind by accident. You learned it. Maybe as a child, you noticed tension in the room. You learned to soften your voice. You learned to anticipate moods. You learned that being agreeable kept things calm. Maybe you were praised for being mature, for not causing trouble, for being easy. And somewhere along the way, kindness stopped being a choice. It became survival. You began scanning rooms before entering them. You felt responsible for everyone's comfort. You apologized for things that were not yours. You told yourself this was love. But there is a quiet difference between love and fear. Love gives freely. Fear gives to avoid losing. When kindness is rooted in fear, it drains you. It becomes a currency you pay to stay accepted. And the tragedy is subtle. No one sees you bleeding. They only see you smiling. There is a specific kind of tired that sleep cannot fix. It is the tired of over-accommodating, of replying to messages immediately because you do not want someone to feel ignored, of rearranging your schedule because someone else did not plan theirs, of listening for hours while your own voice stays silent. You tell yourself, it's not a big deal. I don't mind. They need me. But your body keeps score. Your chest tightens when your phone lights up. You hesitate before opening certain conversations. You rehearse explanations in your head before setting the smallest boundary. This is not generosity anymore. This is self-erasure. And here is something difficult but true. If someone only feels comfortable around you when you are shrinking, they are not comfortable with you. They are comfortable with control. Kindness without boundaries becomes permission. Permission for others to overstep. Permission for them to assume you will absorb the impact. And slowly, you become the cushion everyone lands on. Soft, supportive, and never asked if it hurts. There is a myth in many cultures that being nice guarantees being valued. But value does not come from compliance. It comes from clarity. Think about the people you truly respect. They are not cruel. They are not cold. But they are clear. They say no without drama. They leave when something feels wrong. They do not over-explain their limits. And notice something important. Their kindness is not constant. It is intentional. They give because they want to, not because they are afraid of what happens if they do not. The world often confuses softness with weakness, but weakness is not softness. Weakness is abandoning yourself to avoid discomfort. Strength is staying kind while still standing firm. You can speak gently and still refuse. You can love deeply and still walk away. These are not contradictions. They are maturity. There is usually a moment, a quiet breaking. Maybe it happens after you cancel your own plans again. Maybe it happens after someone dismisses your feelings for the 10th time. Maybe it happens when you realize you cannot remember the last time someone asked how you are and waited for the real answer. You sit there, and something shifts. Not anger, not drama, just clarity. You realize you have been overfunctioning for people who underfunction. You have been overgiving to people who undergive. You have been over-explaining to people who do not listen. And the most painful part is this: you trained them. You trained them that your time is flexible, your energy is renewable, your forgiveness is automatic. Not because they are evil, but because you never showed them otherwise. Boundaries feel harsh only when you are not used to having them. The first time you say no, your heart may race, your voice may shake. But that shaking is not weakness. It is a muscle learning to hold weight. Many people avoid boundaries because they fear becoming cold. But boundaries are not walls. They are doors with locks. A wall keeps everyone out. A boundary lets the right people in. When you say, "I can't talk right now. I'm not comfortable with that. That doesn't work for me," you are not attacking anyone. You are informing them. The discomfort that follows is not proof you did something wrong. It is proof you changed the pattern. And when patterns change, systems react. Some people will respect it immediately. Some will test it. Some will leave. Let them. Anyone who only stays because you have no limits was never staying for you. They were staying for access. The hardest part is not setting the boundary. It is surviving the guilt after. You may hear an inner voice say, "You're being selfish. You're overreacting. They'll think you've changed." Yes, you have changed. You stopped overextending. Selfishness is taking without regard for others. Self-respect is protecting your capacity so you can give sustainably. There is a difference. Kindness should feel like warmth, not obligation. If your generosity feels heavy, resentful, or obligatory, it is not generosity anymore. It is pressure. And pressure eventually cracks even the strongest glass. Strength is not volume. Strength is not dominance. Strength is not control. True strength is internal alignment. It is when your words match your needs, when your actions match your limits, when your yes is real and your no is solid. A person who cannot say no does not have a powerful yes. It is just compliance. When you choose kindness from freedom, it feels different. You help because you want to. You support because you believe in it. You listen because you have the capacity. And when you do not, you step back without resentment. This is emotional adulthood. It is quieter, but it is stable. At some point, you may notice something new. You stop over-explaining. You stop crafting paragraphs to justify a boundary. You stop defending your need for rest. You simply say, "No, not today. I'm not available." And the world does not collapse. Some people may misunderstand, but misunderstanding is not the same as rejection. You are not responsible for managing every interpretation. You are responsible for your integrity. And there is a strange peace that comes with that. You begin to feel less anxious, less resentful, less drained, because you are no longer negotiating with yourself. Yes, you may lose people, but examine who you lose. Often it is the ones who benefited from your overgiving, the ones who expected you to absorb discomfort silently, the ones who called you kind when you were convenient. Losing access to someone who never honored your limits is not loss. It is correction. The right people do not fear your boundaries. They feel safer because of them. They know where you stand. They know your yes means yes, and your no means no. That clarity builds trust, not distance. There is a final fear. If I stop overgiving, will I become cold? No. Coldness comes from bitterness. Boundaries come from awareness. You do not need to harden to protect yourself. You need to define yourself. You can remain soft, compassionate, empathetic. But now your kindness will have direction. It will be offered, not extracted. It will be shared, not surrendered. And when you give from that place, something changes. You no longer feel invisible, because you are no longer abandoning yourself to be seen. Take a slow breath. Think of one place in your life where you are overextending. One conversation, one relationship, one habit. Now imagine saying one clear sentence. Not angry, not defensive, just clear. That sentence may feel small, but small shifts reshape entire lives. You do not have to become harder to become stronger. You only have to stop shrinking. Thank you for resting here tonight. If this reflection met you at the right moment, let it stay with you. You are allowed to be kind without being consumed. You are allowed to be gentle without being diminished. You are allowed to choose yourself without apology. If this space brings you clarity, subscribe to the Soul Rest. This is where we remember who we are, without noise, without pressure, without shrinking. Until next time, breathe slowly and rest.